What if I told you that one sacred passage could anchor your entire day, steady your spirit, and remind you before the sun even rises that you are protected, guided, and never alone? What if I told you that the ancient words of Psalm 27 are not just scripture, but a spiritual compass for your modern soul? Before the world presses its demands upon you, before the notifications sing their hollow songs, before the opinions of others try to shape your reflection, there is a moment sacred, silent, golden. It is the breath of dawn where your soul is still untouched by noise, where your spirit is closest to clarity, and where the divine leans in, whispering your name, not in reprimand, but in remembrance. Start your day not with the clamor of the world, but with the quiet certainty of God's light. That light is not just the sun rising over the horizon, it is the illumination of your soul, the lifting of fear, the warming of the places in you that have grown cold with worry, weariness, and waiting. Psalm 27 begins not with explanation, but proclamation. The Lord is my light and my salvation. That is not a statement of question, it is a song of knowing. You see, light doesn't argue with darkness. It simply arrives, and darkness must move aside. When you begin your day in the presence of that light, you don't need to create confidence. It rises in you naturally. You don't need to force gratitude. It flows, and you don't have to chase purpose. It remembers how to find you. But to receive that light, you must make room for it. You must invite it. You must choose not to rush into the noise of the world before resting for a moment in the silence of God. Because what you run toward first is often what will rule your day. And if you run toward fear, toward your phone, toward the unfinished business of yesterday, then you are letting shadow speak before light has had its say. This psalm does not suggest you will have no enemies, no problems, no storms. It simply declares that when you begin with light, you are not subject to the storm's chaos. You carry the calm. You embody the stillness that cannot be shaken by external winds because you've been rooted by something eternal. The Lord is not just the light around you, He is the light within you. He is not a distant sun. He is the fire in your bones. Many people begin their day by stumbling out of bed into distraction, into survival mode, but you have been given the power to begin differently, not to react to the day, but to command it. You do this not by force, but by alignment. You rise and center yourself, not in ego, but in eternity. You step into the presence of light, not because you have all the answers, but because you trust the one who does. You turn your face toward the divine and say, guide me, guard me, grow me. And that light responds, not with thunder, but with assurance, with direction, with holy hushes that say, this is the way, with reminders that your breath is proof that you are still becoming, that your rising this morning is not random, but intentional. The darkness of last night did not have the final say, light did. And that light is not finished with you. It has work to do in you. It has promises to fulfill through you. Let your morning be a sanctuary, not a scramble. Let it be a sacred ritual where you sit at the feet of grace before you ever stand in the presence of people. Let Psalm 27 be your anthem, not your afterthought. Because when you start your day in the presence of light, you don't carry yesterday's burdens. You carry today's blessing. You don't chase peace. You become it. You don't look for strength. You remember it was always in you, waiting for this exact moment to shine again. In a world where almost everything is fleeting, where people change with the weather and love often comes with conditions, there must be something, someone, you can hold on to without fear of it slipping through your fingers. When the noise of uncertainty is loud, when your footing feels unsure, when you find yourself questioning everything you've built or believed, there is one who does not move, one who does not flinch, one who does not falter. God is not a suggestion. He is not a vague hope. He is not a distant possibility you reach for only when life goes wrong. He is your foundation, your fortress, your full and final answer. The beauty of Psalm 27 lies in its boldness. It does not say, I think the Lord might help me. It does not whisper, maybe he will show up. It says, the Lord is my light and my salvation, not was, not could be, is, present, immediate, unshaken. God is not a maybe when everything around you is saying you're not enough. He is not a maybe when your plans unravel, when people walk away, when the doors you prayed for stay locked. He is your certainty when nothing else makes sense. How many times have you let doubt be the loudest voice in the room? How often have you given power to the opinion of others, the pressure of time, or the weight of fear, when all the while certainty was waiting in silence for you to acknowledge him? You see, God's presence is not based on your perfection. He doesn't show up only when you've got it all together. He shows up because he is already there, always has been, always will be. Certainty in God means you can walk into rooms where your name isn't known and still stand tall. It means you can sit in silence and know you are still heard. It means you can cry without shame because your tears are seen, counted, and understood. It means you can walk through the darkest valleys and know they are not your destination because his rod and his staff, they comfort you, they correct you, they carry you. God is not a maybe when the doctor's report comes in. He is not a maybe when the bank account runs low. He is not a maybe when your heart breaks in places too deep for words. In fact, when the world is most unsure, that is when his certainty becomes your saving ground. He does not shift like shadows. He does not hesitate like man. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And that is not poetry. That is truth you can stand on when everything else is shaking beneath you. And don't let this world fool you into believing that faith is weakness. Faith is not blind belief. Faith is fierce, focused trust in the one who has never failed. It is waking up and declaring, even if I do not see the way, I know the way sees me. It is facing storms with a steady hand because you know the wind still obeys his voice. It is being still, not because you're out of options, but because you know the battle is not yours to fight. So walk like someone who has already been delivered. Breathe like someone whose name is already written in the palm of eternity. Love like someone who is already loved beyond comprehension, because God is not a backup plan. He is the blueprint. He is not your fallback. He is the ground you rise from. And when the world asks, how are you so sure? You look them in the eye and say, because I walk with the one who never changes, never fails, never forgets who I am or whose I am. There is something sacred in you that the world cannot steal unless you hand it over. There is a warrior spirit in your bones, not because of how loud you are, not because of how strong you appear, but because of who walks with you. You were not crafted to tremble at the sight of resistance. You were not born to crumble when trouble knocks. The battle you are facing is not bigger than the one who lives inside you, and that means you were never meant to walk through life in fear of the fight. Fear has a voice, and oh, how persuasive it can sound. It tells you you are too small, you are too broken, you are not ready. But let me remind you, fear is not prophetic. It is not a truth teller. It is a thief dressed in logic, a liar wrapped in caution, and its only power is the one you give it. The word says, though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then I will be confident. That confidence doesn't come from ego. It comes from alignment with the truth that God goes before you, stands beside you, and guards behind you. You see, battles are not always fought with swords and shields. Some of the greatest battles are fought in the silence of your own thoughts, in the quiet of your waiting, in the loneliness of your becoming. And yet, even there, you are not abandoned. You are not without armor. Peace is your shield. Faith is your weapon. Grace is your covering. And the God who knit you together in your mother's womb did not design you to collapse when adversity rises. He designed you to stand. So why do we fear the battle? Because we confuse it with punishment. But battles are not always about correction. Often they are about preparation. They are the furnace in which your strength is refined, the proving ground where your purpose is awakened. And while you may not have chosen the battle, you are still called to face it, not with trembling knees, but with steady feet. You do not walk into war alone. The presence that split the Red Sea, the hand that steadied David's sling, the breath that raised dry bones to life, that same power is what you carry when you say yes to your calling. But you must choose it. You must choose to believe that you are equipped, even if you feel unqualified. You must choose to trust that the pain has a purpose, even when it pierces deep. You must choose to speak life over your days, even when death feels louder. Because fear may knock, but it does not get to enter unless you open the door. And when you know who you are and whose you are, you don't have to open anything but your heart to courage. Your enemy is not just the hardship outside you, it's the hesitation inside you. The temptation to shrink, the whisper that says, "Sit this one out." The weariness that begs you to stop. But oh my dear, you are not built for retreat. You are made of something eternal. And when you lean into that, you will find a boldness that cannot be bought, a bravery that does not depend on the outcome, and a strength that comes not from avoiding the fire, but from walking through it and refusing to come out the same. You are not meant to fear the battle because you are already promised the victory. Not a victory shaped like comfort or applause, but one rooted in resilience, anchored in purpose, soaked in the wisdom of having endured. You don't have to wait for the outcome to stand tall. You can stand now, right here, right in the middle of it, knowing that even if the battle rages, your spirit cannot be undone. You were never meant to fear the battle because you were created to reveal glory through it. There comes a moment in your journey when you must stop looking at your enemies and start looking at your assignment. The ones who speak against you, who try to block you, who cast doubt on your name, those people do not hold the pen to your destiny. They may raise their voices, but they cannot rewrite what heaven has already written. Your enemies may try to delay you, distract you, discourage you, but they are powerless against your purpose. Purpose is not fragile. It is not a dream that can be shattered by criticism or crumbled under pressure. Purpose is divine, anchored in a place far beyond the reach of those who don't understand you. And the reason they can't destroy it is because they didn't give it to you. It was breathed into your being by the one who sees beyond your beginnings and knows how the end unfolds. So why do you give your peace away to people who couldn't carry what you carry for even a single day? The ones who envy your light have no power over its source. The ones who wish for your fall do not get to determine your elevation. What they say, what they do, what they plot in silence has no authority over what God has ordained. Let them talk. Let them scheme. Let them walk away. Your purpose will not shiver under the weight of their absence. It will not bend to the wind of their betrayal. It will not stop shining because they try to dim your light with doubt or disdain. You must understand your enemies are often assigned not to break you, but to build you. Their resistance is the backdrop against which your resilience becomes undeniable. Their opposition is the evidence that you are rising. Trees do not grow tall without wind. Diamonds are not formed without pressure. And oil does not flow without crushing. If they are coming against you, it may be because something powerful is coming through you. And what is inside of you, purpose, vision, calling, fire, is not up for negotiation. They may laugh when you start. They may scoff when you stumble. They may even celebrate when you fall, but they cannot cancel what they never created. You are not walking on their permission. You are walking on divine instruction. And if God has placed something in your hands, no man can take it out. Let your enemies watch. Let them witness what happens when faith meets favor, when perseverance dances with destiny, when pain births power. The most dangerous thing your enemy can do is remind you of who you are. Because when they come against you and you stand anyway, when they speak against you and you bless anyway, when they hope for your failure and you rise anyway, they've done nothing but awaken the fire within you. Every dart thrown becomes a stepping stone. Every trap becomes a turning point. Every insult becomes a reminder that you are too focused to be offended, too called to be distracted, too chosen to be moved. Don't fight to prove your purpose to those who are committed to misunderstanding it. Don't lower your light to comfort those who have chosen to stay in the dark. Keep walking, keep speaking, keep building, not because they approve, but because your purpose demands it. The battle is not theirs. The glory is not theirs. The crown is not theirs. Your enemies may surround you, but they cannot shake you. They may conspire, but they cannot conquer. You are not defined by their opinions. You are not bound by their limits. You are not driven by their fears. What you carry is protected. What you're building is covered. And where you're going, they cannot follow, not because you are better, but because you are anointed for a lane they were never assigned to understand. Let them watch as you become everything they said you couldn't be. Let them witness what happens when purpose prevails over pettiness, when grace outpaces gossip, when favor outweighs every attack meant to harm you. They are powerless not because they are weak, but because your purpose is stronger than anything that stands against it. There is a place deep within every soul where questions echo louder than answers, where the weight of becoming feels heavy, and where the identity we present to the world begins to crumble under the pressure of life's unrelenting expectations. It is in this sacred space, this quiet, trembling space, that a divine invitation calls to us. Seek my face, it says, not my hand, not my gifts, not my protection alone, but my face. Because to seek his face is to seek the purest truth, the clearest reflection, and the most intimate encounter with the one who knew you before the world ever named you. We live in a time where identity is shaped by mirrors and screens, by applause and validation, by how many people follow you, like you, admire you, or envy you. We search tirelessly for who we are in titles, in relationships, in accomplishments. But these are masks, temporary veils that can be stripped away in a moment. What remains then? Who are you when no one is looking? Who are you when the noise dies down, when the applause fades, when the stage is empty and the curtain falls? That is why the call to seek his face is not a suggestion. It is a lifeline, because when you seek his face, you are no longer asking the world who you are. You are returning to the source. You are entering the presence where masks melt and truth stands unshaken. And in that presence, you do not have to strive. You do not have to perform. You do not have to prove. You simply become. To seek his face is to come out of hiding. It is to strip away the armor that life has made you wear. It is to lay bare the wounds you thought you had to carry alone. It is to come not with polished prayers, but with the honesty of a trembling heart. And in that vulnerable posture, you do not find judgment. You find reflection. You begin to see yourself as He sees you, not through the lens of shame or failure or regret, but through the eyes of love that sees beyond your scars into your sacred design. The reason we don't know who we are is because we've been taught to chase identity in shadows. We run to opinions, to platforms, to possessions, hoping to find a sense of self. But identity is not something you achieve. It is something you remember. It is not found in the eyes of others. It is not found in how loud your name echoes in rooms that were never meant for your spirit. It is found in the secret place. It is found in stillness. It is found in the seeking. When you seek His face, you are not escaping reality. You are encountering it. The real you, the unshakable you, the you that was spoken into existence by breath, not by accident. And suddenly your value is no longer negotiable. Suddenly your worth is no longer in flux. Suddenly you realize you were not born to chase approval, but to walk in purpose. You were not created to fit in with the crowd, but to reflect the image of the Creator. In His face you will find peace that silences chaos. In His face you will find joy that no hardship can steal. In His face you will find the courage to confront what you've run from and the grace to forgive what you thought you'd never release. And in His face you will see yourself, not the version you've performed, not the version shaped by survival, but the version God envisioned when He called you very good. This is why the psalmist said, "My heart says of you, seek His face. Your face, Lord, I will seek." It was not a religious ritual. It was a desperate pursuit, because once you taste the presence of truth, you cannot go back to pretending. Once you have encountered real love, you cannot keep accepting counterfeit. Once you've seen your reflection in divine light, every other image will look dim by comparison. And no, seeking His face won't always be easy. It may require